Having already covered the behind the scenes of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie and the Turbo movie, I thought it would be fun to delve into Power Rangers Zeo. The making of Zeo is super interesting, as it was the first time that Western audiences had seen a change of costume for their beloved Power Rangers. It is also, in my opinion, still one of the best seasons. The following information in this video again comes from the Power Rangers Ultimate Visual History book. I've said this in a few videos in the past, but if you're a Power Rangers fan and you enjoy learning about this behind the scenes stuff, this is a must buy. Hopefully you enjoy this excerpt about Power Rangers Zeo. Let's get into it. So, the shocking cliffhanger at the end of the Alien Rangers miniseries left Zordon and Alpha 5 missing and the Power Rangers powerless. To further raise fans' anticipation of the next chapter in the Rangers' fight against evil, Saban Entertainment produced a series of 30-second pre-show teasers to be shown before reruns of Season 3. The short pieces, which often featured Bulk and Skull, revealed that a new adversary was about to invade Earth. Without the Power Rangers to stop this villain, the future looked grim. The big changes that the characters were experiencing on-screen were part of the behind-the-scenes shakeup that would have a huge effect on the Power Rangers saga. This was the season that producers decided to start making some cast changes and begin to emulate the Super Sentai shows by switching suits every year, says writer Jackie Marchand. When Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was such an unexpected hit, that particular costume was associated with the Rangers, so Haim Saban was hesitant to change out those suits. The audiences didn't know that the Sentai season's costumes changed every year. It was also decided that this season would focus more on the Rangers' personal stories, leading to longer narrative arcs and more relatable teen angst. Many of these changes came about due to an underlying issue facing Saban Entertainment and its partners Toei, the Fox Animation, and toy maker Bandai. After the third season, Power Rangers toys had hit more than $1 billion in US sales, and though they were still the top-selling action figures, overall US sales had dropped. In order to overcome the potential slump in sales, Saban Entertainment needed to revamp the series and offer a new selection of toys. Most people wait to change when they're going down, said Peter Dang, president of children's entertainment at Saban at the time. But we thought it would be easier to do when we're up. The Rangers had been wearing those diamond-chested suits for several seasons, so they needed a new look, says Steve Cardenas. Of course, we needed to get new powers as well to match the Japanese season. They had run out of the original Japanese footage and it was time for a new toy line to come out. So that meant a storyline that offered new suits, new toys, and everything. But it was still about 6 people who worked together and fought a group of monsters who wanted to smash up the city. Zeo picks up immediately after the last episode of Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers 10-episode miniseries. After recovering the Zeo Crystal, the Rangers go through a shimmery force field in the tunnels beneath the command center and find themselves teleported to the power chamber, an entirely new base of operations much larger and more sophisticated in design. Even Zordon had a better looking tube. The new command center was beautiful, Catherine Sutherland remembers. The old one was a little rickety, like buttons would fall off. It wasn't in the best condition, so when we came back with the new command center, it was a great improvement. So Zordon had survived, but he immediately warns the Rangers of a new peril about to invade Earth. The pieces of the recovered Zeo Crystal will give them new powers, but the math doesn't add up. There are 6 Rangers and only 5 sub-shards of the Zeo Crystal, so Billy voluntarily relinquishes his powers to Tanya in order to work with Alpha 5 on creating new weapons and gadgets for the team. David Yost had been informed of the change in his status early on. I remember getting a phone call just saying, "Look, you're not going to be a Power Ranger anymore, but we are still going to leave you on. And you can be Billy, but you'll just be an advisor and helper to the team." And I was like, okay. I think they just probably felt it was time for Billy to move on. Yost admits he was disappointed, but at the same time understood that it was not unprecedented for a television show to go in a new direction with its stories or characters. In fact, the current Power Rangers team had been aware that, for some time, Haim Saban just wanted to replicate the Japanese Super Sentai practice of recasting every season. It was just a matter of when. So the new threat and enemies had been referenced in the Alien Rangers pre-show teasers. It turned out to be the Machine Empire, which has broken away from the United Alliance of Evil with the intent to enslave humankind and strip the galaxy of its resources. The Empire is headed by King Mondo, a tubby blue and silver robot with saggy jowls voiced by David Stenstrom, along with Queen Machina voiced by Alex Borstein, who would go on to play Lois Griffin on Family Guy. Barbara Goodson provided the voice of their son, Prince Sprocket, Their other son, Gasket, was voiced by producer Douglas Sloan in an uncredited role. To fight the Machine Empire and their grunts, the Cogs, the Rangers are equipped with new versions of morphers, called Zeonizers, and the male members of the team get new colours. Rocky DeSantos becomes Zeo Ranger 3 blue, Adam Park is now Zeo Ranger 4 green, and Tommy Oliver becomes Zeo Ranger 5 red. They are now Power Rangers Zeo, the next level in the fight against evil. Instead of being based on dinosaurs or other earthly animals, the Zeo Zords were once again based on mythological creatures. The Blue Ranger gained the powers of the Sphinx, the Green Ranger those of Taurus the Bull, and the new Red Ranger the power of the Phoenix. Meanwhile, the Pink Ranger's Zord symbolised the Moe statues of Easter Island. And the Yellow Ranger controlled a Zord based on Dogu, an enigmatic goddess figure of Japan. These changes were a bit risky, Jackie Marchant admits, since the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Dino Zords were so popular. But the risk was worth taking, and the new creatures proved just as successful with kids. Throughout the season, the Zeo Rangers are helped by a mysterious Gold Ranger who disappears following each encounter. In Revelations of Gold, the Power Rangers finally meet with their new ally, Trey, Lord of Triforia, a visitor from a distant planet who immediately splits into 3 identical beings. No special effects here. Trey was betrayed by the DeFilippo triplets, Ted, Tom and Tim, but Trey could not continue as the Gold Ranger, and the search for the replacement led to the return of Power Rangers legend, former Red Ranger Jason Lee Scott, played by the returning Austin St. John. Now, if you want to know more about the Zeo Gold Ranger, we literally released a video on him the week before last, so head into the channel and check that one out for a full video on that Ranger. So before the Machine Empire is finally defeated, 2 more changes affect the show. In the episode Rangers of Two Worlds, Billy has been aging rapidly because of side effects from the regenerator that had turned him back into an adult. To get help, he leaves Earth for Aquitar and gets treatment by the Eternal Falls, the Aquitar version of the Fountain of Youth, because Yost had decided to leave the Power Rangers franchise and the production did not have enough time to craft a story-driven exit. Of course, there have been rumours of different reasons for David leaving the show, which are terrible and horrendous, but that's perhaps a story for another day. With Billy conveniently on another planet, the Rangers are told that his youth had been restored, but he has fallen in love with an Aquitian and decided to stay there with her. Austin St. John also finished his time as the Gold Ranger, as Jason transfers his gold powers back to Trey of Triforia. With Jason Lee Scott no longer a Ranger, Tommy is the only original member of Season 1 cast still on the team. And as we know, he didn't join until at least, I think maybe 16, 17 or 18 episodes into Season 1. Zeo had introduced new villains and said farewell to old friends, and its popularity proved that fans could still handle big changes. They were eager to continue going along for the ride, a ride that was about to jump once more onto the big screen. Now, if you want to know more about that big screen jump, then head over to our Truth About the Turbo Power Rangers movie. That's it for Zeo. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm a big fan of getting into these behind the scenes stories. As a filmmaker myself, I find them just as interesting and just as fascinating as the show itself. If you want to see more of these, let me know in the comments down below. I'm happy to delve more into this ultimate visual history book and maybe even go through each individual season. You guys seem to be enjoying them so far, so be sure to let me know if you enjoyed this one on a season rather than the movie. Thank you so much for watching today, my friends. I hope you have a fantastic day. May the power protect you, and I will see you next time on the 6th Ranger.